this light. That is right in my face. Let's see. It's a little better. All right. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for checking in. I'm your host, EJ Parker, here at Vintage Classic Solutions. So we have to look at some Ninja Turtles, folks. Let me get a few of these in the screen for your viewing pleasure. Let me get some music, not too loud, not too soft. Hope you're all doing great today. It's gonna snow. I have my window, the shades open so I can see. I'll give you live time weather feedback. It's gonna snow. I live in Northeast Ohio. And there's a snow. We live right by the lake, and the snowstorms are coming. All right, let me find some music just while I kind of get set up. All right, so what we have, just to kind of preview, is this huge box full of toys. Some of those are new. No, most of these are vintage. Excuse me. Most of these are vintage. There may be a few in here that are the Walmart reissues, if you can recall those. They're recent. They still have them. Like there's Walmart reissues of the original Turtles, right? Now these names, I haven't got a chance to jump into my Ninja Turtle like nomenclature and all the I haven't like refreshed my memory is what I'm trying to say with these toys and the names. I'm pretty good at the names, but it's been a while. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff in here. This is cool. Now this is incomplete. I forget the name of this. Now most of these, as just a footnote or side note, these don't belong to me. These belong to some other folks that I know and love. So they're graciously being lent to me. So if I don't know all these names, please forgive me. My name is EJ Parker. I am your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions, Ninja Turtles. Most of these are, I'd say 90% of these are vintage original ones. This is that awesome, what's his name? You gotta help me out with this. He was the Mosquito, right? Now these colors are just awesome. I managed to find this one, I think, at a flea market or a thrift store for a couple bucks. It's completely missing almost everything, as you can see, but it's still pretty damn awesome. This has that color scheme that we all know and love from the Turtles, the original, that zany color scheme. And this, what the hell is this thing's name? If you know, help me out. Let me see. Something says T-top. I forget. That's something like I forget. But he's got like a zapper on the back. He's missing again a ton of stuff. His wings. He's got like a saddle, I think. Is there a date on this? I mean, these are. Let me see. There's gotta be a date. But just the color scheme on this thing is freaking awesome. Thanks for joining. My name is EJ Parker. I'm your host. We have a parade of vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys. I have a huge box here. We're just going to kind of look through, have a nostalgic trip with these toys as our vehicle. Just a side note on this, these details are awesome. These toys, if you can recall, the closer you look, the more you just see. There's just like all kinds of weird little, like almost like Easter eggs in the mold of the toy, like just pieces of garbage or whatever. I don't know. Keep that in the screenshot. All right. Classic. This is I need a moderator to help me out on this one. I forget. I wish I didn't have time to go through all these. This is I forget. He is awesome though because he's got the transparent brain, which then connects to his eye. So if you put a light in there, his eyes kind of emote neon pink radicalness. He had a backpack. I think this one's complete, but we have a just to kind of give you a preview. And my name's EJ Parker. I'm your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions, my vintage and antique store. I also do music and art and all that stuff, but this is my focus today is all this stuff. How about that? So again, those are probably 90% vintage. There may be a couple reissue ones in there from the Walmart series or not, but I think there is. All right, let's look at Ray Fillet. Ray Fillet, what do you say, Ray? This is Ray Fillet. Now, this one is a Walmart reissue. 2023, Playmates, made in China. Usually, it's a quick footnote for you collectors out there. These, like, whenever you see like the white text on the base of the foot, that's a quick way to know that it's a reissue. Like if you're out and you see like a bag of these at a thrift store or something, that will give you a quick identification mark for a contemporary one versus the vintage ones. So this is Ray Fillet. He was a later character in the cartoon and in the toy series. Now these colors are awesome for you people that like blue, teal, aqua. This really is a great color scheme here. He's got that big grin, and his wings, his manta ray wings. He's a manta ray. His wings are flexible. He's got a little buddy named Fish Fillet, I think his name is. No, Fish Sticks. Some of these turtles had like little buddies, and this Fish Sticks was his little sidekick, which I'm sure is in here somewhere. All right. Let's see what else we have. I might as well get to him. His name is, I forget his name. He's the I think it's like Wingnut. There we go. Good job, EJ. Wingnut. He's got these awesome wings that are always lost. This one, I believe, is a reissue. So there's a couple reissues in here. Maybe even some. We'll find out together. How about that? You see that white footnote there, that text, meaning this is a reissue from the Walmart series. But these look just like the real ones, like the original ones. So it's kind of cool to have if you need one like a placeholder in your collection. Let's check this out. How about this? Here we have, this is the Ninja Turtle motorcycle, which has a sidecar. I'm not sure if this one does. There's a sidecar, and this was an awesome toy. Now, this one I had as a kid. This motorcycle, this was awesome because you have that sidecar. It has all these kind of cool details in the mold. My name's EJ Parker. If you like this kind of material, go ahead and subscribe. We do vintage, antique. We look at collections. I buy, sell, and trade. This is awesome. So again, it had a sidecar. I think it had a few weapons, and the sidecar is obviously detachable. This is a fun toy. Now the turtles, I was thinking about this. I mean, so like in 1985, I was 5 years old. In 1990, I was 10. So in the earlier 80s, I was playing with He-Man. He-Man was like the omnipresent toy, right? He-Man was like almost like a melodramatic sci-fi space adventure with all these monsters, and He-Man was like the badass, right? He had the power. And then the Turtles came along a little bit later, and the Turtles just were just like so much cooler. You know, like Party On Dude, Michelangelo, Pizza Party, like the Turtle Van. So the Turtles really, in my opinion, kind of made the He-Man and Master of the Universe almost seem a bit like campy and not as cool as it was when you were smaller. And that's like the color scheme. They're using slang and their cool attitude. You know what I mean? So that was like a different kind of thing. Now Turtles, for me personally, they were probably one of the last few toy lines I played with as a kid, genuinely, before I played them as an adult. This one is great. It's not complete at all, but it's great to have. I can probably complete this eventually, or not. Now here we have Leonardo. That was my favorite as a kid. The blue guy, Leonardo. My brother was Donatello and I was Leonardo. His swords, of course, come out. Now, collectors, buyers, and sellers, a good thing to know is like the squishy head. So if your turtle's got a squishy head, then it's like the earliest basically version of the turtles. This one is solid. This one is not squishy. So this one, let me see if it's a. There's no white maker. This is the original one. This is like a series 2. Let me get my monocle out. How about that? It look like a diamond smuggler. Excuse me. Let me see. I still can't see. Let me see. Give me a second, folks. This says, let's see. It's better be worth it. Looking for some objective fact. Okay, here we go. 1988 Mirage Studios Playmates Toys, proudly made in China. 1988. So I was 8 years old when this toy came out. How old were you? So this is not the squishy head. The squishy head ones are more desirable just because you can say squishy head, right? But great nonetheless. He's still got his swords. That's pretty impressive. That might come in handy. Let's see what else we got. My name is EJ Parker. I'm your host this morning here at Vintage Classic Solutions. We look at vintage, antique, ancient, medieval, prehistoric, and everything in between. This is my store, my collection. This isn't my personal collection, but we feature collections all the time. Now, this is a Raphael that's seen better days, for sure. He has some kind of kid contraption in the back that a kid made that I love. That's awesome. A little something or other. Now, let's see if it's squishy head. Let's test. No, this is not squishy head. Let's examine the nomenclature. Let's see here. This lighting. Yeah, this is also 1988 Playmates Mirage Studios. Now, interesting note, it does not say made in China. Whereas the Leonardo said, you know, made in China. So I don't know. That's kind of an interesting little mold variation. If you like variations and being different and unique and celebrating our creativity, you are in the right spot. My passion is vintage, antique, art, and music. If you like those kind of things, please subscribe because we always talk about these, you know, these glorious items from different eras of just throughout history. I really get obsessed with my collections, deep dive into the cultural significance, historical, and all that stuff. And I try to be as objective as possible with the facts whenever I can. This is not my collection again, so please pardon me with all these names. I forget his name. I think he has to do though, like these guys are kind of like buddies. These were released a little bit later. These were not first series turtles. I can recall these being released later. I had this one as a kid and I was like, hell yeah. Right, come on. That chrome, is it Chrome Dome? Oh yeah, the knowledge is in there. It's just further in the back. I think it's Chrome Dome. Holy crap, I pulled that out of my brain. Chrome Dome, I think. Maybe. But that chrome is just awesome. It's like that gold. Someone tell, you know, Elon Ma, that he needs to make like one of those Tesla trucks like this color. Like that late 80s gold chrome. Kind of like Transformer, Turtle style. I love it. So this is the other robot guy. And the thing that's cool about him is kind of got an Easter egg here. His chest opens up to show the sprockets and the gizmos, which just delights kids of all ages, including yours truly, EJ Parker. I'm your host. Please like and subscribe. That helps me. I'm on a personal mission and goal. I think we can achieve our goals if we just don't give up. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by this Christmas. I think I'll reach 1,000 subscribers probably in about 2 or 3 days, and that's thanks to you. So thank you for supporting me. I'm trying my best. Now he's loose. There's no weapons with him. I don't think. There's a big box there next to me. You never know what's the bottom, right? Sometimes you find the diamonds at the bottom. You gotta look. Let's see what this says. 1990 Mirage Studios Playmates Toys. Is it proudly made in China? I'm willing to bet yes it is, but I do not see a made in China mark. For those keep the score at home. All right, so let's move along with this large collection of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here we have that duo Bebop and Rocksteady. This is Rocksteady. He's the Rhino. Now, when I was a kid, like I got one good guy and one bad guy. My little brother got one good guy and one bad guy. So I got Leonardo, then I got Rocksteady. Now this one is a squishy head, which denotes the first release, the first kind of series, if you will, of the Turtles. Let's find out together. No. Non-squishy head, folks. What does that mean? Well, hold on now. Hold on now. Is it just like frozen from time? Or is it a non-squishy head? I think it's... Oh, man. This is kind of deceiving. Let's check the date. Let's take a closer look. Let's see. You can probably hear that rain outside. It's a heavy rain turning to snow. But don't worry, you're safe inside with me, EJ Parker. I'm your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions. We're looking at a collection of spectacular, mostly vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys. So this says, just to get the dates for those keeping score at home, Playmates, proudly made in China, 1988 as well. So 88 was a great year. That's when a lot of cool collectibles were out there. So this is a non-squishy head Rocksteady. This is not his original weapon. He's just borrowing this from... I forget the guy's name, but it's not his original weapon. I think he had like a machine gun or two. And of course, his buddy was the Warthog Bebop. So this is a non-squishy head Rocksteady. Let's move along. If you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe. My name is EJ Parker. This is my store, my life, my passion, my antique and vintage items. I buy, sell, and trade. What's his name? This is the Rat King. This is like when the Turtles got like the further in the series. He wasn't a first series. No, he wasn't a first series bad guy. He's got your dead cat belt accessory, which is, what else he got? Let's see. Let me get you all a nice view of his belt, because sometimes these are the Easter eggs of the Turtles. These just bizarro, like, he's got like a centipede up there. On the mold of the toy. There's a bunch of rats on them. They're nasty. Like the New York City subway. We got a bone. So I think he's the Rat King. He's got a rat on his foot. Now, again, collectors, buyers, and sellers. These the reissue ones from pretty much now Walmart will have a white text on the base. So if you're out like looking at a thrift store or whatever, looking to score some Turtles for your collection or to resell, it's a really important thing just to look for that little white, if you can see it, that right there is like a footnote to know that you're dealing with a contemporary reissue, which pretty much used the same mold. So it's kind of deceiving, but you gotta be careful, especially if these are like played with, like a new one was played with in a sandbox and then someone donated it to Goodwill. It'll look old, but you gotta just look for that white like text. It's like a maker's mark or serial number. My name is EJ Parker. I'm your host. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe if you like this kind of vintage, antique, nostalgic, super awesome vintage toys. Here are some Turtles. Now who is this, folks? This is, what the hell's his name? I forget. I'm sorry. This is, what the hell's his name? I like to be more prepared for my viewers, but this is not my collection. So we just got to make the best of it. His jaw is articulated, as we can see. Now, I could probably just use some AI to augment my information, Turtles, but I think it's kind of rude for me to be staring at my phone while you stare at your phone. It's like a non-transaction. We're all just doing this. You know what I mean? But then again, it's a useful little thing. So let's see what AI says. Okay, let's take a picture of this. Attach. I'm going to attach it. This is Chat GPT. I don't rely on it. I use AI to augment my creativity and my passions and my knowledge or whatever. But I'm not relying on it, because if you, excuse me, in my opinion, at least in the year 2024, if you're relying on AI for your information, for like your career or your credibility, be careful, because I'm a professional musician as well, and I've asked, just out of curiosity, to see how it would field it. I asked AI some basic music theory questions that I knew the answers to, and it did not. And these weren't like abstract, very complicated musical theoretic questions. These are like, construct me a G-flat fully diminished chord, and it couldn't do it. It gave me wrong notes, and then I asked it, "What the hell's wrong with you?" and it apologized, and then it did it wrong again. So my point is this: be careful. Don't like just blindly rely on AI because it's still not worked out all the whatever's got to work out. And you can ask your AI whatever you use, like ChatGPT or the Google one. What date is your knowledge cut off? And I mean, Laminar Flow. We got the mod squad in the house. Laminar Flow. Thanks for joining. I have some of the best mods from around the world helping me help all of you fulfill your love for passion and vintage and creativity. So thanks, Laminar Flow, for being here. We are asking, so let's get to this first. Now, this figure appears to be Leatherhead, which I think is correct, from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy line. Produced by Playmates in the late 80s and early 90s. This is AI here, folks. Leatherhead is a mutant alligator and the adversary of the Turtles, so he's a bad guy. The details, like his signature vest and boots, suggest that he's from the original vintage toy line. Is there anything specific you'd like to know about this figure? Let's ask it how much it's worth. Yeah. Hi. How much is it worth? I don't get personal with AI because it's like a toaster, and I told AI, don't get personal with me. Let's keep it short and sweet. Like, I don't want to be like, hey, AI, remember the time I asked you about that turtle 5 weeks ago and you made it? I don't want to do that. I ain't got time for that, folks. My name's EJ Parker, all right? How much is it worth? How much is it worth? I've never priced an item actually before using AI, so I'm curious to see what it says. Loose figures like yours typically sells for between $15 to $40 US, depending upon paint wear, articulation, and overall condition. All points I agree with. Complete figures with original accessories can sell for $50 to $80. Seems a little. Mint condition or carded, new old stock, range from $150 to $300 US, depending upon demand. So you have a price range of $15 to $300. That's, pretty big window, right? You can find these out at flea market still. Even like vintage toy stores will have like a bin, like an incomplete bin where toys are, like a few bucks. So, you can find those around. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. This one is a favorite. I had this one as a kid, and I think I even have it as an adult. My name is EJ Parker. I'm your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions. This is my vintage and antique store, my love, my passion, and I share it with people like you. If you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe. Laminar Flow is in the house, my awesome mod. This is Muckman. Oh, that was in the back of my subconscious. Thank you. So this is Muckman. Now, he is an Easter egg upon Easter eggs, folks. Why do I say this? Take a look. His mold is simply spectacular. He's got all these just bizarro, garbage, nasty, like a fly, like a chicken sandwich, and probably a little hot dog in there, and a banana peel for a little hat. Now his head, this toy just keeps on giving, folks. Let me show you why. There's so much to go with. Now he stands up very nicely, even in the palm of my hand, due to his sewer cap foot. So this was a plus, because you could get away with a lot of great poses with him, with all of that leverage there at the base. So that was great, that wide stance there. Now you can see he does have some old slime. This white crust is indicative of old slime. You see that this is dry. Now that can be removed with a hot, the bath, which is giving me ideas for a possible YouTube short as we speak. Now he was great. Now what you do, if you don't remember, he had a little garbage can in the back, like a little garbage can backpack. And you can see right here. So you would put his garbage can backpack on, and then you would pour the slime into the garbage can backpack, and then it would ooze out this hole. If you can see the daylight, right? Can you see my eye? It would ooze out the hole in his gut in the front and back. You can see the daylight there. Look at that. All right. So how awesome is that, right? You're 8 years old. You pour the slime in, and it's just coming out his guts, and he's like, he's stumbling around, mumbling, right? And then we're not done. Check this out. You take his freaking head, his cap of his skull off, and then look at, there's a little hidden compartment. You can put like a little secret note for Shredder, right? Or more likely, you're gonna put slime in here, folks. You pour the slime into his cranium, and he just barfs out his mandible. He just ejects, or doesn't really eject. It's like a slow ooze, right? It's so awesome. So this toy in battle against the turtles is a pretty big. It's quite ominous, yeah. Or it's a remarkable adversary. You know what I mean? Slime out the back of the front, his mouth. He's got his little buddy, which is what's his buddy's name? Some of the later turtles came with like little buddies, little sidekicks. I think I came in too late. What are these toys called? These are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These are some of the more. This is like a large collection. Laminar Flow, my spectacular mod. These are popular toys from like the mid-late 80s, made by Playmates. Some of these you might not recognize because they're more obscure a little bit. And then, of course, we all know and love Leonardo. All right, no way, my childhood. Our childhood, Laminar Flow. Yes, nostalgic time machine in our brains can become unlocked and more real through just some objects like this that just bring us joy. Now let's use AI a bit. Let's augment our experience here with this toy and see if there's anything that I can unlock as far as juicy morsels of information. Take a photo here of Muckman. I'm using ChatGPT to see if there's anything else, because this is not my collection. This is someone else's collection. This is my son's. This is not mine, so I'm not up to speed on all the details, though I should be. I apologize. My name is EJ Parker. I'm your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions. Please subscribe if you like what you see. All right, so I just took a picture of Muckman, and I'm asking, look at it go. He is just filling all this information out. This figure is Mutagen Man. I thought it was Muckman. See, I was wrong. Another character from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vintage toy line by Playmates, released in 1990. Mutagen Man. He's known for his no, wait a minute. Is this wrong? So this may be wrong. He's known for his translucent body, which originally held water. No. See, this is wrong. See my face? I'm mad at AI for giving me wrong information. That's why you gotta double check. Let's see. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, Laminar Flow is getting busy, augmenting our experience, and I kindly thank you. I'm gonna try another source. This is a case in point why you must be cautious when you use AI, because you'll be, oh, I got the information. I'm gonna put it in my. See, it's Muckman. I was right. Trust yourself, folks. Trust your gut. You see it live. Trust your gut. Muckman and Joe Eyeball. Right there. If you can see that. Muckman and Joe Eyeball. So I was right. That's proof. Live. Today was today. 11/28/24. AI is not right. I mean, come on. This is not like that obscure. What the hell, AI? Let's see. Now I'm not gonna be abusive, but I'm gonna be like, that's incorrect. What's up? Hey. There. That information is not correct. Let's see what it says. You're right. You're right, EJ. No, it doesn't say that. It says, you're right. Let me correct that for you. The figure in your... That's freaking wrong. So you got to be careful. Even the second is apologetic. It wants to kind of lure you in, like lure you closer, because like using, human-like, verbiage. Listen to this now. So you're right. Let me correct that for you. This figure is an image of actually a toxic crusader. Toxie. This is not right, folks. Based upon the character Toxic Crusaders from the animated series produced by Playmates in 1991. Toxie is a mutated janitor who fights pollution with a single look of radioactive sludge and a mop and a shield. So that's not correct. So strike two, AI. This original intelligence, we're winning. This is good, right? We're winning. AI has now twice screwed up this. This is Muckman. He's not Toxic Crusader. So case in point right there. Don't trust AI 100%. You got to double check. AI is great and it can augment your creativity, your passion, and your goals, but it's not got the bugs worked out yet. I mean, I don't know what the hell. If you ask AI when it's last been updated, it'll tell you. I think last time I asked my chat GPT, like, when is your, it's not live knowledge. It soon will be, but I think it said it's not, his last knowledge update was like October of 2023. So it's not current, but this is from like this is like from 1990. So you gotta be careful with AI. It doesn't know everything. It still makes a lot of errors. You gotta double check your references and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I try to, if I wholeheartedly jump into something, no matter what, it could be an antique vase from the mid 1800s, or it could be a modern toy. I want to find at least 2 sources before I feel confident about it, because you never know, the source could be just totally incorrect. Now this is another Ray fillet. This is these are the 2 reissues. Again, collectors, buyers, sellers, you want to look for that white text right there. That denotes a contemporary remake, and they look just like the original. So you got to be careful if you're looking to resell them. You don't want to trick someone or have a listing have wrong information selling an old one when in fact it's a new one. Here we have, what the heck is this name? See, now I'm scared to even ask AI because it's lost my trust, folks. But you can trust me. I'm your host, EJ Parker. I'm here to help. I'm a professional antique and vintage dealer. We talk about being creative, following your passion, achieving your goals. And my goal is to get 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. I think I'll reach that goal actually in about 2 or 3 days. Let's see. Laminar Flow. So Laminar Flow is a great mod on my team, and we're building this team because what's going to happen is this. Just a little bit off track. I did a YouTube live a few days ago about YouTube Live. I did YouTube Live about YouTube Live. What goes on behind the scenes? I asked Chat GPT a few times late one night to give me a blueprint of what goes on, and it did. And basically, what I want to share with Laminar Flow is this. YouTube, between 50 viewers and, pardon me, if you have a channel that has between 50 to 999 subscribers, YouTube limits the amount of viewers that can view your live streams. So this is like a small amount of people. Once you reach 1,000 subscribers, which I'll do in a few days, thanks to all of your help, YouTube then releases that gate, and then your channel will experience a much larger flow, laminar flow of viewers. So potentially we could see a much larger increase within the next few days. So just to kind of give laminar flow a little update, you can all be like a little fly on the wall of a little channel meeting. So laminar flow, I will be in touch with you via something. So just stay tuned, and thank you for your help. Now this is, I'm gonna take a bet and say he's a bad guy. Yes, he is. Let's try this again with Chat GPT. Let's see if it can redeem itself. This one, I mean, I will be honest, this Muckman does look a bit like a Toxic Crusader. Actually a lot bit, but still, come on. They should be able to identify that, in my opinion. All right, so we took a photo in my little hand there. I'm gonna plug it in and say, what is it? I'm just gonna plug it in and say what. It's gonna send it and see what happens. It's sent. It's thinking, and the results are in. Oh, come on. See? Jeez Louise, would you? This is wrong, folks. This figure is psychotic from the Toxic Crusaders toy line by Playmates from 1991. It's not. All right, so now I'm going to go to Google and then just do Google Lens. Good old-fashioned Google Lens, folks. Come on. Google Lens, don't let me down. There you go. Scumbag. Google Lens, scumbag. Worth about, I don't know, $8 loose with all the stuff missing. But he's got just like a, over the top, menacing. His jaw, his mandible is articulated. He's just a a mutant, right? I guess that's all I can say. A lot of these are missing their accessories because these were just collected over a few years, and you just kind of get what you can find. No, actually, I found these at these were gifted to my son, and then they go in various places, and I kind of got them here for this little live stream. But I acquired a lot of these at a flea market, I think like 3 years ago. Like there was a box under a table, and we made a deal, and it was just like now we have like just like a plethora of turtles to jump in. So if you like that, go ahead and subscribe. This guy is awesome. Check this out. He has, bam. He has this clear body. You can see his guts and his brain. I mean, this is awesome. And then this is the part that's like a real difficult thing for collectors sometimes. These are like little bones. You see those little things in there? Those are like actual tiny plastic bones. Those can get lost. I mean, I can't believe they're even in there. How old is this? This is like a later series one. This is original. This is 1990. Mirage Toys, Playmates Toys. So he's got a little opening here that you could put, I think, water, and then his bones would float around. This is a really kind of out there character. Let's see who his name is. I think he's actually kind of a bit valuable because it's just like when it comes to turtles and He-Man, sometimes it's counterintuitive. Like the last series of those toy lines will be worth the most. Like the last series of Motu, because He-Man's time was waning, and then those toys were thrown out, and then maybe not produced as long. So they're more obscure, they're more rare, and they're therefore more valuable. Let's see. Bam. Let's see. Viewer discretion advised. Landmark Flow saying one of the earliest examples of children's toys is a set of these 3 stone balls found in a tomb of a 4-year-old girl in Xi'an. Xi'an is I've been to Xi'an before. I used to live in China. Thank you, Laminar Flow. That's awesome. So Xi'an is a very famous city in China. It was the capital many, many centuries ago. Xi'an is famous for the terracotta warriors. Terracotta warriors are those soldiers frozen in time, and there's not just a few. There's thousands, and they're not made from a mold. They're all unique. So a farmer this is why you never know what you're going to find. That's why I have to remain agnostic. I can't prove something, but I can't prove it's not. I can't prove there's a God, but I can't prove God exists, but I can't prove he doesn't exist. But you must keep searching, and this is the reason why. There was a farmer in his field in Xi'an, China, I think in the mid-40s. I forget the exact date. He was out in his field, working, and I'm sure his eyes were open because when he was plowing with his hands, I think he stumbled upon something, and he looked, and he discovered the terracotta warriors. That's a basic gist of it, and then and the rest is freaking history. So those kind of stories give me optimism as an amateur archaeologist. There's a lot of things that are still very mysterious, right? That are lost to time, that we may be skeptical about, rightfully so, because we don't have the empirical proof or the bones or the fossils or whatever kind of proof it may be. But it's a big world, and I talked to my father about this. There's a lot of things that haven't been found yet, right? I know that I search for things for a living. I go out, I go to barns and antique malls and thrift stores and garage sales and wherever, and I'm always looking for something unique and spectacular and desirable and rare to offer my customers. So you have to just keep an open eye, and I know that you have. If you don't, you'll never find if you don't look. I would set when I started selling on eBay full time about almost 5 years ago when I just did it full time. I would set goals for myself, like I would research American pottery that was desirable, and I would be like, okay, I want to find a Roseville pottery, which right here. This is a piece of Roseville pottery that I found at a flea market, because I educated myself about this. This pottery line is very collectible and sometimes extremely valuable, and I didn't have one. But I educated on myself where they look, the touch, the feel, the maker's marks, and I started finding them. So then I wanted to up it a little bit. I'm like, all right, let me find something a little more valuable. Let me find rookwood. Rookwood is it's like art pottery that was produced in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the late 19th century. A footnote: it was produced by a woman, one of the first women business people in the U.S., Maria Longworth Nicholas Storer. She was one of the first major businesswomen in the U.S. I think her name should be a little bit more celebrated than it is, but it's not. Um, she was great because she came from a wealthy family, and she did this right. Her father gave her. She had a passion for arts and pottery, and her family. Her father gave her a lot of money to put towards her passion, and she hired a very international team of artists. She had influence from Japanese uh, pieces and art. And what happened was she actually, in the late 1800s, competed, took her works to Paris. Um, there was a pottery exposition, I think in 1883 or something like that. Laminar Flo can help me with this maybe. In the late 1880s. And what happened was she won the Grand Prix. She put American art pottery on the map, and that's a bigger deal back then than it is now. I always say that I was born in a different era. My name is EJ Parker. I'm your host. Go ahead and subscribe if you like antique, vintage creativity, goals, and all that stuff. So my point is this: she did it right. She was thoughtful. She hired a good group of people around her, and the results are pottery that's very desirable. So I made it a goal to find some of those pieces. And I did. I have a piece over there. I have a piece I always show on my channel, a big, gorgeous onyx black vase. Or no, it's jet black. It's gorgeous. So I achieved that goal. So next, what's next? I want to find something even more rare, even more desirable. And I did. I found Lalique. Lalique is a French. Lalique is like the French, almost Tiffany, like the famous name in the world of jewelry or fine glass or crystal. Now it's crystal. So Lalique, um, I educated myself about Lalique. We have some textbooks. He was a jeweler, became a glass artisan. I think the early 20th century, 19 early like early 1900s. Um, so his pieces were out there and they're very valuable. So I looked and I found. But if I didn't educate myself in the first place, I would have walked by those. And I've sold some of his works for over $1,000 in my eBay store, so that's legitimate. You can check my sold records. Um, so I question myself now. Well, EJ, what have I not educated myself about that I'm walking by now? Because some of my biggest fears are that I'm gonna walk, like someone's gonna donate like the Ark of the Covenant or like the chalice to Goodwill, and I'm gonna walk by it. You know what I mean? Like, when do you think I'm gonna find the Ark of the Covenant at Goodwill? I'm gonna be like looking in on the aisle where it's like the brass and the copper goods and like the wood items, and I'm gonna be like, what is this thing? I'm like, it looks like a natural old patina. There's no maker's mark, huh? This is the Ark of the Covenant. It's like it'll be like $8 and 89 cents. I think you found the Ark of the Covenant at Goodwill. Someone donated the Ark of the Covenant. You know what I mean? But you gotta look. So my goal, my EJ Parker get quick rich scheme is I'm gonna find a Picasso in a barn. I say that half jokingly and half seriously because I'm looking for a Picasso in a barn. I love art. I'm surrounded by art everywhere. My house is like a museum. I have post-impressionistic arts by famous painters. I have self works. I have just everything: abstract, primitivism, you name it. Uh, Baroque style stuff. Because I'm training my eye, so when I am out in that barn, my eye can catch something, and I can take a closer look, like that farmer did in the field that discovered the freaking terracotta warriors, right? Bam. Let's see. Let me go back to what Laminar Flow was helping me with. Back to Xi'an, armies of the Qin Shi Huang. armies of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. These sculptures were buried with the emperor in 2010 to 2009 BCE with the purpose of protecting him in the afterlife. Yes, and they also, all right, Air 416. Thanks for joining us. We are live. Good to see you. I've also, now I was in Xi'an. I was performing there in 2000, I don't know, 11 or 12 at a very fancy event, and it was extremely extravagant, and we didn't have time, unfortunately, to make it to the terracotta site, the terracotta warrior site. But I've read that there's actual lakes and streams of mercury that were put there to protect the emperor, which that's just got to be just so mystical and eerie, like just rivers of mercury. I guess they knew there was like a poison that would deter, grave robbers, and they did a pretty good job. I mean, it was there 2010 BCE until the mid 20th century, so that's remarkable. You know what I mean? So imagine what else has not been found. What if I'm live? I go live and I'm like, guys, I found it. I found Picasso or a Rembrandt. We'll have a big party. Trust me. And you'll all be invited. I'm your host, EJ Parker. We are live. I want to thank you all for being here. We have a huge collection of vintage, mostly vintage, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These are from the late 80s, early 90s, the classics that we all love as kids and as adults. This is a more obscure one. Let's keep going. I got a box full. Is that Mondo Gecko? No. This is not Mondo Gecko. This is I like his necklaces. He's adorned with necklaces. He kind of got like a Thundercat vibe, that bass player. I like Thundercat. All right, let's see what this is. I'm using Google Lens now because AI has lost my trust. It was 2 strikes in a row, or 2 or 3 strikes in a row. This is Genghis Frog, 1989, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you like this kind of stuff, hit subscribe. We are looking at a very large collection of mostly vintage Ninja Turtles. So Genghis Frog. This is a loose one. He's from, we got some 1989. Genghis Frog. Now that's the color scheme of the late 80s for damn sure, folks. That green, the blue, the yellow, like that mustard yellow, and that kind of like mauve. Heck yeah. Let's see. What are you, Air 416? What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Yes, it's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you who celebrate. I am showing all of you these awesome toys, and then I'll be hanging out with my family. I'm gonna make dinner, and probably it's gonna snow, so this is gonna probably be conductive to some really cool live streams because we're about to get slammed in Northeast Ohio with a big snowstorm. So I can probably put my antique bottles in the snow. I'm a bottle collector, right? So I have all these weird old bottles, and I want to put them in the snow because why the hell not? You put them there, and I don't know. Back to Ninja Turtles. So this is a Genghis Frog. He's got some of that white slime residue. You can see that slime that dried, from 30 years ago. Donatello. My little brother was Donatello, and I was Leonardo. Now let's see if this is a squishy head. Let's see. Nope. Squishy heads denote basically the first release of the first series of our Ninja Turtles. So you can just squish the head, and if it just squishes, then it's a earlier one. This is like a series 2. It's still vintage and old. It's just like the next release, like the next batch. Let me see if I can get a date on this. 1988. So I was 8 years old. I love Donatello because I like that color scheme. That he was more of a brown and that purple. I loved how the turtles had that color. How they had the really kind of unique. I love colors, right? Their unique shade of green. Donnie's like a muddy, kind of like a muddy swampy green, and Leo's a little bit like a pond algae green, right? I love it. Let's see what else we got. Let's stay with the turtles here, just to keep the color variation of the original 4 in our conscious. This is of course Raphael. Let's see if it's a squishy head. Oh yes! All right. Doesn't take much to make me happy, folks. A squishy head. Now you gotta be careful when you're squishing these heads, because if it's dry, like dry rot from being in your attic for 30 years, it'll break it. But so this is the original series, like series 1, if I may. This 1988. He's got his sai, I think these are called. These little weapons, which were easy to lose. No, this is the sai, right? The ones in the front. Raphael was, I don't know. He's kind of like my least favorite back in the day, but I've kind of gotten back with Raphael. Because Michelangelo was just so overpowering, right? Michelangelo's personality. Like your favorite one may have been Leonardo, like me, or Donatello, but Michelangelo had to kind of get his foot in the door and then blocked out Raphael. And I think Raphael in the cartoon was kind of like a jerk, if I can recall. His personality was kind of like a smug kind of like jerk. Now this is Baxter Stockman. This is an original one, vintage. You have to go Air 416. All right, you have a great day. You'll come back. All right, we'll see you next time. We'll be doing this a lot. And thank you for your support. This is, I believe, Baxter Stockman, which is missing all the accessories. A lot of these have a slime residue, which you can wash off. Just bring them in the bath. Let me see what chat. Let's give Chat GPT one more shot, because it's kind of fun. Let's see. I'm going to attach a photo. No, I don't want to get plus. I want to attach a photo. I'm out of uploads. So now what? Now I just switch over to Google. That's what I do. What is Google? Google's got Gemini. Gemini, see, I found, because, again, don't rely on one source. Go to Gemini, go to ChatGPT, then go to another one, because a lot of times it's incorrect information. Yes, Baxter Stockman, 1989. This is probably worth around, I mean, you can find these for a few bucks at thrift stores, flea markets. You can find these at thrift stores, like in bags of random toys. They're still around. This is, I think, Series 2 Ninja Turtles. This is an awesome toy. I'll find a date for you. This is great. Crag, and the brain just pops out of there. And his humanoid form. This is great. Crag is awesome. The cranky, just brain. And got a bad attitude. I love how it's just this rubber. It's like gumball, like gum pink. It's like this squishy rubber Crag. So it's cool because, for scalability, the original ones, I think the original Crag is really big, right? It's really expensive. You never see it. I never had it as a kid. The original Crag is like a large humanoid toy, and Crag is a bit bigger. That toy is desirable if you have it. Good for you. I'm sure that it's a cool thing to check out. But this is the Series 2 one. There is a date. Let me get you a date here for those keeping score at home. My name is EJ Parker. I am your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions. We are live. This is my vintage and antique store. Wow, this text is ridiculously small. I don't even know. It might. I want to get a date. Dates. It's all about the dates, right? Because then you can tie in pop culture references. I can't. It's too faint. But I know this is a Series 2 Ninja Turtle. It's not the original line, but I think the next one. Here we have a vehicle. Now, I mean, they just got so zany. The Turtles, even in their later years, like the later series, towards their end of their original toy line, they just got so zany with all these just bizarro, wacky vehicles, and that was what was appealing, because you were like, what? It's just this total nonsensical thing, not trying to be realistic at all. Where He-Man was trying to be like a melodramatic space age thing, this was just over the top, just what the hell. And kids love it. I still love it. It's just the colors are all crazy. It's got a samurai aesthetic, right? And then it's got soy sauce, so you have hints of of Asia to. Oh, it's got a kickstand. That's another late 80s toy feature, kickstands. Let's see. Is there a date? Yes. Oh, early 90s, pardon me, 1992. So yeah, this is a later, it's got like the stick shift, right? You don't see those anymore. Who can drive stick shift? But who can find a stick shift car? Not me. And now stick shift cars are actually more expensive than like non-stick shift cars. Like if you want to go out and get a stick shift car, you think it'd be cheaper, right? Because it's just stick shift, less technology. But no, they're like more obscure, therefore more hard to find. Baxter Stockman is a mad scientist and human enemy of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, seen right here. Becoming employed by Shredder in most incarnations. Yeah, so Shredder was the bad guy, Shredder. Which I just learned he was the voice of the uncle from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I just realized as an adult. But yes, thank you, Laminar Flow, for those footnotes. I greatly appreciate you helping me and our awesome viewers. He was a child prodigy who was always had an evil streak in his heart due to being pushed around by his classmates at school. So he decided to develop an amazing brilliance by presenting a plastic volcano. Yeah, that's the backstory. That's good. There's so many backstories to all these. There's just so much, the universe of these things, right? So that's that one. And thank you, Laminar Flow. I appreciate that. Let's see what else. Oh, what's this doing in here? Voltron. Now, this is awesome. This is original Voltron. It's just kind of sporadically thrown in there, I guess. But it deserves an honorable mention because Voltron is awesome. I like to think of my team here on YouTube, my channel with my awesome mods, and all of you. We're like Voltron. We're all important, but when we connect our power and our creativity, you better look out because we're gonna kick some ass. Yeah. So this is the blue guy, right? He got his head. He's one of the legs of Voltron. Folks, this is when toys were made of cast iron more so than, or cast metal more so than plastic. The body, now this is how I remember toys as a kid of the 80s. This is mostly made of metal. This body is all like die cast. The arms, the legs are chrome, plastic, and the head is plastic. So, but this is, I'm going to say, I don't know, 65% die cast. So when you're a kid and you have a toy that's made of like metal, it just feels more important. You feel like you have something that kind of transcends a toy. It's like more like I don't know. But this is awesome. So this is just his leg. I haven't transformed this thing in forever. Let's see. The leg just fold in. I don't want to break it. This one doesn't belong to me. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking, transforming a toy that doesn't belong to me, because if it breaks my own toy, I don't care. But if it's someone else's, you feel, you gotta replace it. All right, so his tail hangs down, folds in, and he is an awesome leg of Voltron. I used to love Voltron. That's another good idea for an episode. But look at this. This is his leg. Now, some of the Easter eggs of this one was, I think his dome pops up for like extra zapping ability. Yes. So that pops up and he's got like a laser in there or something, and that goes back down. And then his jaw opens up so he can bite you in the ass. And then he's got, what is this? What is this? I had the yellow leg when I was a kid, so pardon my ignorance on this one, but this does something. Or is that a seat? I don't know. But that's a very handsome toy. These each had pilots in the cartoon. And then you put these all. Now, if you were a kid, you might have a couple of these. I had, but I never had the complete metal Voltron. If you had the complete metal Voltron, it elevated you to like a higher level of coolness as a kid. Like, owning a toy could make you that much more desirable to hang out with. Like, hey Chuck, can I come over and hang out with you and your Voltron? Oh yeah, come on over. I mean, that was a big deal, pre-internet. I'm gonna get a cup of coffee here and put some music on and be right back in just a split second. I will be right back. I need a coffee refill. My name is EJ Parker. We are live at Vintage Collect Solutions. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I am back. Thanks for sticking around. My name is EJ Parker. I am your host. It is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you who celebrate. Those of you who are in other places or don't celebrate, happy day. If you like vintage and antique toys and art and music, go ahead and like and subscribe. We feature all those things on this channel. Now this is Wingnut. This is the original one. A kid has lovingly made their own wing because this toy is always missing its accessories. As you can see, Wingnut. Now, let me, as a comparison, let's look at. This is the original Wingnut, and this is a Walmart reissue. The bottom is a contemporary new reissue, and the top is the original. So I mean, it looks pretty dang close. But again, remember the white writing on the feet. That's how you know the originals from the newer, like, they're not fakes, they're just like contemporary remakes. So if you see the white writing on the foot, and that goes for almost like a Buzz Lightyear toy, or I mean, My Little Pony, anything that's collectible that was vintage, you gotta be careful, you know, before you buy it. You want at a garage sale or whatever, wherever you're at, just check the foot out. If it's got white text or writing, that means it's newer, like within the last, I don't know, 15 years. If it doesn't have that writing anywhere, the white writing, then it's probably an original vintage one. All right, let's see what else we got in this box. There's still a lot left. Now some of these are. This is a new one. I don't want to spend too much time on the newer ones because they're new and they're not vintage yet. But one day they'll be vintage. One day, yeah. Oh, this is cool. So this is a contemporary remake of Raphael. I like his color. That's a kind of a cool color green. This is a new one from Walmart. Nothing too special there. Oh, this is cool. So I had him. This is, he's the hare. He's like the samurai. Oh, what's his name? This is a cool toy. This is like a later series turtle. Now, let me get back to the laminar flows help me here. So Wingnut is an alien mutant bat who, in some incarnations, is partnered with an alien mosquito named Screwloose. Yes, Screwloose, and depending upon the version, is a friend or enemy of the turtles. Thank you, laminar flow. So this gotta be Screwloose because this is the mosquito, right? This is like a vehicle. This is like a flying vehicle for your turtles. This mega weird, mega bizarre. It's a mosquito. Thank you, laminar flow. Let me see what else. So this is Crag. From, I believe this is an original one. He's like the bad guy. You know, it kind of got a little bit like in Dimension X, where the bad guys live. It kind of got a little bit confusing because you're like, well, is Shredder the leader of the bad guys, or is it Crag? You know what I mean? So, but I think Crag was calling the shots, if I can recall correctly. Yes, Usagi. Yes, that means rabbit in Japanese. Miyamoto Usagi is a fictional character who appears. That's gotta be this one, because Usagi is Japanese for rabbit. Who appears in the American comic book Usagi. Oh, Yojimbo, yes. A Dark Horse Comics book released by Stan Sake. Usagi is an anthropomorphic rabbit and a Ronin. Look at that information. Laminar Flow. Laminar Flow had their coffee today. Laminar Flow, what time is it where you... I need to get to know where my mods are. You don't gotta tell me like what town you live in, but like, I want to know. Cause I'm building a map in my brain of where everyone's at, because I have an idea. I plan to use my awesome mod squad in a bit unorthodox way, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I want to know, and we'll have a meeting. But we'll talk about that. Anyhow, I want to get to know my mods because they're so awesome. Let's look at this. This is one of the original bad guys. This is Bebop. Bebop has a non-squishy head. I thought this was original first series, but I guess not. Bebop is missing an arm because this plastic does get a bit brittle. You can see the joint right there where it just snapped cleanly off. That can happen. But he was like the original series of bad guys. I know my brother had this guy and I had Estonia. Okay, cool. So, okay. Gotcha. Estonia. Okay, cool. Cool. The closest I've been to Estonia is I've been to Finland. I worked in Helsinki. I performed at the International Helsinki Jazz Fest back in, it must have been like 2006. I know Kiitos. I'm not sure if the language is similar to Finn, but that was a really amazing experience because in Finland, when I was there, the sun never set. So it makes you realize that, you know, like you shouldn't take night for granted, like that balance. Because when I was there, we had these really heavy. We were performing in Helsinki, which is the capital of Finland. So we were in Finland for maybe like a week, and it was great. I had Koshkin Kodava, and all our hosts were very creative and gracious, and I saw a very, very beautiful part of the world. Met some great people, but I couldn't believe it didn't get dark. Our hotel room, like our hotels had these big like drapes on the windows, so they could really close the light out. But it never got. I think it got like a little bit like dusk for like a half an hour, but it just never got dark. And then the opposite happens at the other opposite end of the year, where it's always dark. And when I would talk to my, the friends I made there, they said that it's hard on people's emotions to not see the sun for a very long time. Back to Turtles. So Bebop is a major antagonist in the Turtles. Yep, he was once a human professional thief hired to steal Shredder's helmet, named Anton Zek. Now he's a mutant warthog. Oh, I didn't even know the backstory, so thank you, Laminar Flow. Let's move along. Let's see what else we got. Now this is an awesome. As the Turtles progressed through their seasons and the years, they wanted to reinvent themselves and stay kind of fresh and zany and I guess unique. And this is the fruit of their labor. This is like a samurai Leonardo. The Turtles kept reinventing like just different like bizarro like sports turtles, surfing turtles, and just to kind of keep it fresh. And I mean they really kept pushing it. And it's a cool looking toy. I mean overall, it's the mold of the toy is extremely detailed for what it is. As a kid, gold paint made things feel a little bit more important. So this toy was. You were proud to have a toy like this back in, let's see, this got to be like, what, 1990? Let me take a look. The light is not that good in here. 1990. There we go. Bam. My name's EJ Parker. You're watching Vintage Classic Solutions. This is my Vintage and Antique channel. We talk about life and creativity and our goals and how we can achieve those together by being creative and sharing our passions. And this is my passion, these vintage toys today. So thanks for joining. All right, it's gonna snow very soon. I want to do some fun YouTube live in the snow once it gets crazy out there, if and when. This is Casey Jones. Casey Jones was kind of a weird character. He was like this really intense guy that was that wore these light green shoes. I don't know, the color scheme of his shoes is just kind of a weird thing, but I like it. Casey Jones is a really intense character. He came in towards the end of the season. Turtles got kind of bizarre towards the end, and I started to get a little bit too old to play with toys, so I kind of lost the backstory with all the characters towards the end. Let's see. Here is a duck. This is, I forget his name. He's got unique arm articulation for usually it's set up a little bit different. I forget his name. Let's see what else we got. I'm looking for a squishy head. This is another Leo that does not have a squishy head. He's an original vintage, but he's a series 2 because his head is solid. Here's a panda. A lot of these don't belong to me, so I'm pardoning my ignorance on the nomenclature and the names. This is a bag of stuff. Nothing too spectacular there. Yeah, we gotta talk about this. We gotta mention Shredder. So Shredder is the lovable leader of the Ninja Turtles. He has like a cloak or a cape that is always missing, so he is not complete. I believe he has a stick, his weapon, like a walking stick, I think, which I don't have. But these are you gotta have Shredder or Splinter. I'm sorry, right? You gotta have Splinter. There's a unique story about Shredder and Splinter. I think they were once training together in martial arts, and then something happened to them. Let's see. This is a more obscure one. A later series. This is a Triceratops. You can see how how the turtles got more zany and just bizarro as they progressed. It's over the top. That's a substantial chunk of plastic for that accessory. Bam. Now this one has a tail that articulates and has since disappeared. Just to give you a look at something contemporary, just so we're aware. This is 2022. This is a Donatello with shell storage. So the original one is quite desirable and quite hard to find because of all these small accessories. Collectors and dealers and I mean, sometimes you can spend more on a small accessory than on the actual toy itself. I know with especially like Transformers, like G1 Transformers, you could spend $30 or $20 on an Optimus Prime, but $70 on his two original fists, which are just two small pieces of plastic. So this is from Walmart. Will these go up in value? If you want me to speculate for a minute, speculation with EJ Parker. Probably, but not a lot, and it's gonna take 20 years. Because look at Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars. You know, the ones from the 90s, those are now vintage, and Hot Wheels, they like reissued cars from the 60s called Red Lines in the 90s. So in the 1990s, you had toys being reissued from the 60s. But those have since become vintage in their own right. So you have vintage toy Hot Wheel Red Lines from the 60s, and then you have the vintage Hot Wheel toy Red Lines that were remade in the 90s, which are now both vintage. So I mean, you gotta be aware as a collector, as a dealer or a reseller of how you can decipher the vintage from the real old vintage versus the not as old vintage. So I mean, it's fun though. That's why we do it, because it's a fun hobby. But these are what makes a lot of the toy hard to complete or rare or valuable. These accessories. So if you have toys like this nowadays that you love, like some kind of Star Wars toy, like the Baby Yoda. I know, like we bought a bunch of Baby Yodas when they came out back in 2019. Like the Black Series, which has some of the smallest accessories known to man. The Baby Yoda, just to kind of, the Baby Yoda is about that big, right? It's an adorable little action figure of the Black Series. The box is that big. It's great. We bought 10 of them to speculate, gave them to my kids. I have a few. But in the Baby Yoda's got like a little bowl, and in the bowl is this rock, and the rock is the size of a speck of dust. I mean, you could sneeze on it, it would blow away. So I'm willing to bet like that speck, that little rock, accessory is gonna be worth like $100, probably in 19 years, because it's so damn small. It's crazy. I mean, it's just so small. It's ridiculous. So this is a 2022 reissue that you'd buy at Walmart. You can still find these. I love how they stay true to the original, the little story and the graphics. So kids today can have that experience, your little card. So that's cool. We get a few of those and just kind of put them away. Just, I don't know, just for like things like today. I'm glad I have at least one. So this is Michelangelo. He's a real party dude. He's the one that kind of brought Turtles to like a higher level of coolness. Just always joking around, getting pizza, just always, busting everyone's chops. He really gave it a lighthearted, he added slang, like a street kind of vibe. It totally broke the norm of like the seriousness of like He-Man, right? He-Man and G.I. Joe were so serious, right? Lion-O, Thundercats was serious. This was serious business, right? Voltron, all that stuff was Transformers. This is freaking serious. And then you got Michelangelo, who wants to party and eat pizza and joke around and commit mischievous monkey business. Kids loved it, right? I mean, he's the character, and his color scheme. Now let's get the gang together, right? Let's get all 4 of the original gang to see the color scheme, because I think that was one of the nicest things that they did at this toy line. Look at that. Donnie, you got Raph, you got Leo, and Michelangelo. Look at them there. Barbershop Quartet, ready to sing for you. So the color scheme is great. You got Michelangelo, which is a non-squishy head. He's like a dark hunter green. You got Leonardo, who's kind of like a lily pad green. You got Raphael, who's a lighter, almost pastel green. And you got Donatello, who's that like a muddy brownish green. So that's the gang. I love, they could have made them easily the same color and they would easily been not as cool. So it's the small things that count. Additionally, it increases the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles association with their home city of New York. Oh yeah, while turtles eat pizza, and thank you for these pop cultural footnotes, laminar flow. I love it, and I love you. While turtles can't eat pizza, the pizza love was created to reflect the teenage side, as there is no food more closely associated with the Teenage Turtles than pizza. Yeah, so like in the 1990s, so I think what corporations do now, they're kind of piggybacking off like the Turtles concept, like throw a pizza party and everything's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like in the 90s, like pizza was like the ultimate like be yourself, just let it all hang out, like food, like eat a pizza, dude. And the Turtles were probably the reason why. So thank you, Laminar Flow, for that pop culture nugget. And I think we got some accessories. This deserves honorable mention just because it was in there. This is a vintage Japanese issued Muscle Man. This is the I'm gonna mess up the name. Kinnikuman, I think, is the Japanese term for these rubber toys. They're known as Muscle Men. This is a larger one. It's like a chicken nugget guy. That just was randomly. And I sell these in my eBay store. If you have to have some of these, let me know, because I bought a decent amount from Japan a few years ago. My name is EJ Parker. If you like this kind of stuff, please hit subscribe. I'm an vintage and antique dealer. I have a lot of these still. I've sold them slowly but surely. What is this? This is funny. This is funny. This is like a penny toy, if I may. This is like, he's got like a rubber skeleton, and it's that slimy, like sticky rubber you throw on the wall, and then he climbs down. Oh, he's like a wall climber. Look at that. There's even information on the back. Let's see what this says. I want to see this. Greenbrier International, made in China with pride. Greenbrier is that company you see at like the dollar store and Walmart. They make a ton of toys, and I think they were a former company that we all knew. I forget. Anyhow, that's not even vintage. I don't even know how I got in there. Let's see. Here's Shredder. I mean, you got to give him some spotlight. The adversary of the Turtles. Thank you, Laminar Flow. Laminar Flow is diligently trying to follow my madness. Muscle. Figures were based on the Japanese toy line called Kinkishi. Kinkeshi were based on manga and anime called Kinnikuman. And some figures were based on anime-only characters. Just a side note, I've done episodes on these toys, and I can do more. These are fun because there's just simply a huge catalog of characters. If you're like a person that likes variety and texture, you may want to collect these. And the Japanese ones are, the catalog of characters and zaniness is even greater than the U.S. ones. And thank you, Laminar Flow. I'm also learning from your work there. So thank you. Shredder. So this is back to Shredder. This is a series 2. He is not original. G1. He is 2012. So we may have an original Shredder somewhere, but this is a series 2. He's got a pretty badass articulation, and these weapons and blade look pretty awesome. So that's a generation 2 Shredder. This is a generation 2 Turtle. I'm not too He's got a cool shell, but I'm not too interested in those right now. Here's another Japanese market Muscle Man. This is a very small one, and it's extremely squishy. The way they differ, the U.S. Muscle Men and the Japanese one, just so you know, for you collectors out there, the Japanese ones are much squishier than the U.S. market Muscle Men. Just a quick, side. So that's about it. There's nothing else in that box. What I think I'm going to do, and my name is EJ Parker. I am your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions, where we look at vintage, antique, art, music, literature, creativity. We had a huge pile of Ninja Turtles. This morning, I apologize. I went live from my antiques and vintage store, where I do motivational morning talk about how to fine-tune our imagination to invoke our laser vision to get our goals done. Because if you can see it in your brain, in your imagination, you can do it in real life, no matter what. So, but my point is, I'm sorry the Wi-Fi was going out, so that stream had to end abruptly. But I will be getting that sorted out. I apologize for that technical difficulties. But that inspired me to get this collection in front of you all these glorious toys. Now I do have also, for He-Man fans, I have Motu. I have like the same thing, like boxes of Motu we can go through together. We do have vintage G.I. Joe as well, which a lot of people always ask me about. So I can show some Joes on live stream. And also let me know. I love interacting. That's why I'm doing live stream a lot more, because I feel like we're building a community. I feel like this is like the highest level of YouTube, and it's really almost what it's made for. You on YouTube, and I can get to know you. I actually get to know you, and you get to know me, EJ Parker. So I really appreciate this interaction. Again, what's really fun for me is like hey EJ, you got a fossil of a fish? Hey EJ, you got any vintage blah blah blah? I like that stuff because it's kind of like trying to stump me, because I do have a lot of stuff, and if I don't have it, then I'm aware of it, and then I want to get one. So I want to learn from you guys, because with vintage and antique items like this here primitive stoneware beer bottle from around 1850. Where was I going with this? I saw this thing and I just got distracted immediately. What am I going to say about this? Isn't that cool? Look at this thing. This is a beer bottle that I've been featuring from around 1850 from New York City. I even pinpointed the address, like the Lower East Side, like East 11th Street. That's why that's what I do with my time. This is like the maker's mark, which helped me figure out where and when. This thing is freaking awesome. It's just super solid stoneware. I don't know how, like, if you get like a 12-pack of these, how heavy that would be. And like your garbage bag, if you had like your friends over and had a party, your garbage bag would weigh like 300 pounds. I just distracted myself with this antique bottle. But yeah, let me know what kind of collectibles you want to see, or what genres, because now I know. It's all about genres. With collectibles, if you're looking to resell or become an antique or vintage dealer, the more genres we know, the more money you're gonna make, to be as cut and dry as possible. So that means, like if you want to sell art, you can sell art and you can make really good money with art. But the key is you gotta know the genres. Like, is it not a naive work? Is it post-impressionistic? You need to know, is it acrylic on canvas with a prepared frame? We need to know, is it mixed media, where we have random objects affixed to like a frame to create a more three-dimensional object, three-dimensional work. So we need to be aware of these things as curators, dealers, and resellers, because knowledge is the power. Knowledge is key. Behind me, you can probably see all these. I have books in my store. I have books just of like various, early American pottery, Native American artwork, all just random topics, so I can just look through these books and absorb whatever I can into my mind. So when I'm out in the wild looking for items in my store, my eyes are more in tune to find things. It's like training your ears when you're a musician. You fine tune your ears to hear a pitch. You can hear a chord, and you can tell the third of that chord is an E flat, as opposed to an E natural. It's the same thing with our eyes. We're training our eyes by exposing them to the original, be it in a museum or online, a YouTube video like this, or a textbook where we see what an original lalique looks like, or we see what an original stoneware jug looks like from 1850. So when we're out looking, maybe 2 years later, our eye will catch something and we'll stop and we'll take a closer look, and then you just made a discovery. Congratulations. Because when I go out into a thrift store, I'm scanning. I got like these lasers. I go bzzz, and I scan the shelves like zzz. Because I have to be with my time. I have to be what's the word? Mindful of it. I have to be quick. I'm going to a lot of stores throughout the day, throughout the week. I have to look quickly and move on to the next place. That's my method. I get in and I get out. I find something great. So I need to train my eyes to be as effective as possible for textures. How do I know this is really old and not from some new store, right? Various signs of wear and maker's marks that can all help us. These textures. That's an important thing as well. Training your eye to texture. And that can apply to glass bottles from the year 1700, or that can apply to Ninja Turtles from 30 years ago. It's just training our eye. Like as you can see on this bottle, this has got this white kind of like film. That's indicative that indicates that it's been underwater. Sea salt, the seawater, decades of being underwater, it's kind of has a reaction to the glass, and it gives us this white kind of powdery look. So you train your eye to that, so then next time when you're out at an antique store and you see a bottle that's got this film, you know, well, it's probably been underwater. And that gives you more of a glimpse into the past, and it can make you appreciate these items more, and it can help you become a more effective seller with your descriptions, because the more you know about it, the more you can pretty much ask for it, right? Let me see. Knowledge is the key. Laminar flow. What I want to do is I'm going to end this live stream because I want to think my day out and kind of do some domestic things. But I want to thank you, and please subscribe if you like this kind of content. My name is EJ Parker. I'm your host here at Vintage Classic Solutions. Let me think. I'll probably go live again later, but I need to do some thinking about what I'm going to do. So I do thank you for all your time, and I want to thank all my mods. Laminar Flow, you're awesome. All of you are great. So I'll talk to you soon, and as always, thanks for checking in.